once again, we're helping to set a scene for you here. Okay, we're in front of my fireplace, fire going, because we're talking once more about young Goodman Brown. And young Goodman Brown, of course, goes to a witch's Sabbath, and in a witch's Sabbath, you have hellfire, the fires of hell. So I'm in front of my fireplace to help set the scene for you. Okay. So you already know young Goodman Brown. What we want to talk about today is symbolism, first of all, and symbolism as Hawthorne presents more and more to us in young Goodman Brown. Because the more we think about the symbols that he uses, the deeper understanding and the deeper thought process we'll have about that incredible story. Okay? So, first of all, what is a symbol? Well, a symbol means it's something that stands for. It is a sign of. Okay? So, if I had a Buffalo Bills helmet here, it would not be the Buffalo Bills, but it would be a symbol of the Buffalo Bills. Okay? If I held a crucifix here for you, and I could have done that, but I didn't. I should have. But if I held a crucifix here for you, you would understand that that is a symbol of Christianity. It is a symbol of Christ dying on the cross for all of us. Okay? It is not Christ dying on the cross. It is a symbol, a sign of Christ dying on the cross. Okay? Or, I don't know, I have a buffalo up there on top of my china cabinet. And if I brought down this buffalo, it would be a sign of the city of Buffalo. Okay? It would not be the city of Buffalo, but it would be a symbol of it. So that's what symbols are. They are signs of. They are things that are meant to make us think about whatever. Okay? So symbolism is an important part of literature because it causes us to get into things more deeply. It causes us to get more deeply into the author's thought processes. And in young Goodman Brown, we obviously have really deep thought processes. Hawthorne plays games with our heads. Okay? Hawthorne takes this story and gives it a Puritan setting because that makes it easy. The story is set in 1692 in Salem, Massachusetts. And of course, 1692, Salem, Massachusetts is the Puritans and their witchcraft trials in Salem, Massachusetts. Okay? And of course, witchcraft is all about, black witchcraft is all about devil worship. Okay? So it just, it just all fits. Hawthorne, of course, was tied into that because his great-grandfather was a judge in the witchcraft trials, or his great-great-grandfather, somewhere along the line. And Hawthorne grew up in Salem, Massachusetts, where the witchcraft trials took place. So Hawthorne uses all of this as a symbol to get at the point he wants to get at. And a lot of the critics, and myself included, feel that the big thing he's getting at is the hypocrisy in human beings. Okay? He sees it particularly, or he's using the puritanical society in a sense as a symbol to maybe to represent all of society. I mean, is hypocrisy part of the puritanical society? Well, they live in a society of we're holier than you. Our society is special. We don't want people from other places because we're better. We live a holier life. So the Puritans symbolize that holier than thou kind of mentality. Does Hawthorne choose this to represent all of mankind? Well, that's for you to decide, I guess. Okay, but it could be that just the setting in Salem, Massachusetts, in the Puritan Society is a symbol. But this story is filled with symbols. By the way, your video question for the week is, why do I have on a red shirt? Why am I wearing red today for this video? And if you pay close attention, the answer will come out later on for you. So it'll be easy for you to answer that question, because you might first think, how am I supposed to know why you're wearing red? Well, again, you'll hear that later on. Okay, so in this story, right in the beginning, Goodman Brown's wife says to him, Goodman Brown says, I have to go off this one night. And Faith, his wife, says to him, this one night above all others, please stay here with me. Okay, so that's a foreshadowing, I think you might say, pretty clearly. But also, is it a symbol that wives know their husbands, number one? Is it a symbol that faith is part of this whole human experience? I'm not going to spell these out for you, okay? But I'm going to give you some examples of symbols, major symbols in this story. When we first meet Faith, is her name a symbol? Is her name a symbol? You can think about that, okay? Because we're dealing with a whole study of what does our faith in God, in Christ, in Christianity, in goodness, what does all of this mean to us? So is her name a symbol of something? Okay. Goodman Brown is going off into a dark forest in the evening, at night. Okay? Think about that. Does anything good ever happen in a dark forest? Okay, so think about that by itself as a symbol. Now, early on, Goodman Brown goes into the forest and he meets this old man there. The old man says, "You're late, Goodman Brown. When I passed Old North full 15 minutes ago, the clock was already striking 6. Now, Old North is a church in the middle of Boston, and you've all heard of Old North because in the Ride of Paul Revere, they hung the lanterns in Old North. One if by land, two if by sea. The way the British were attacking, you all know that. So, this is a distance of 20 minutes, okay? In 1692, there is no way a mere mortal could travel that 20 miles in 15 minutes. It just couldn't happen. Okay? So is this a symbol that Goodman Brown is meeting with somebody who's not a mere mortal? This character that Goodman Brown meets, and Goody Cloyce identifies him for us, of course, is holding a staff. And at one point, Goodman Brown says the staff moves like a snake. Okay? Is a snake a symbol for us? Okay? I'm not going to get too obvious, but, think of Adam and Eve. Okay? Okay. Now, Goodman Brown meets these different people in the forest who represent an important part of Goodman Brown's life. His catechism teacher, his pastor, and the man who helps the pastor. And they're going to a witch's Sabbath. Okay? is the fact that these people are standard bearers of Goodman Brown's faith with a small f, a symbol for us. Goodman Brown is handed the staff to travel through the forest. This staff that he thinks was moving by itself. Okay, and what is the staff, and what could it be symbolizing, and what does it do to Goodman Brown then? Okay, what does it do to him? More symbols. Big symbol coming up that that really often is overlooked. We saw Faith at the beginning. She had pink ribbons in her hair. And we usually think of pink as, little girls and all good and all this kind of stuff. Okay? But then Goodman Brown is in the middle of the forest. He hears this noise overhead, and then Faith's pink ribbons come floating down. Pink. Okay? Now, does Hawthorne deliberately choose the color pink to let us know something special about faith and about our way of thinking? What colors make up pink? What two colors do you have to mix together to make up pink? Obviously, white and red. We know the symbolism we attach to white. Okay? We know what that is, the symbolism we attach to white. But what's the symbolism we attach to red? Okay? Now, in the old days, many towns had what was called a red light district. And the red light district is where guys would go to try to pick up prostitutes. Okay? It was the red light district. Red is a color of sensuality, and frequently we see the devil as red. Okay? So you think about the symbolism of that pink and the symbolism of my wearing a red shirt. Okay, I shouldn't even have said that because it makes it too obvious for you. Okay, so Goodman Brown goes to this place. He rages to the forest and goes to the place where this witch's Sabbath is supposed to happen. And he looks all around, and everybody from the town is there. And his mother and father are there. And he was amazed, and his mother is saying, don't do this. His mother's what? Being protective. Okay? And he was amazed that the good shrank not from the wicked. What does all of this symbolize? Okay? What does all of this symbolize for us? Then the devil says, bring forth the converts. And of course, they're Goodman Brown and his young wife, Faith. And says, now are ye undeceived. Evil is the nature of mankind. What does this symbolize? Is Hawthorne trying to tell us that mankind is evil? Is Hawthorne trying to tell us that the devil is the liar of all liars, the ultimate liar, the prince of lies, the prince of deception? All of us have been deceived by the devil. We know that. Okay? So is Hawthorne trying to reflect on that? Okay? And then, of course, Goodman Brown says, faith, look up to heaven and resist the evil one. And everything vanishes. Okay? Now, is it significant that Goodman Brown was there? Does that symbolize something for us? Okay? I mean, the story is so full of symbols, it's unbelievable. And then, at the end of the story, they carved no verse upon his tomb, for his dying hour was gloom. Does that symbolize something for us? Okay? When he went to church, he heard an anthem of sin rather than the sound. Does that symbolize something for us? So Hawthorne uses a ton ton of symbols in here, and I'm only touching upon them. Okay? But I want you to understand a symbol is a sign up. A symbol is a way to get deeper into a story. And that's what you do. This is already a story that it's almost impossible not to get deep into. Okay? But Hawthorne wants us to get really deep into it because he's trying to send us messages. Or we can just understand the story for the joy of the story. But, you know, it's I don't know, it's such an appropriate Lenten story because I think Hawthorne wants all of us to look within ourselves. And so is he symbolizing all of us through somebody who he thinks is good, and yet is Goodman Brown good if he reacted the way he did? You know? Or is he the biggest hypocrite? You know, for you to decide. All of these are symbols, okay? So, question, you know where to get me. Text me your answer to the question that I gave you earlier on here. Have a good week. Obviously, I love this story, and we'll see you soon.